We spend over 1/3 of our time working. That's why it's critical to systematize your day to work on what's important, so you can focus on doing what you love and spending time with the people who truly matter. One thing that can help is to take a proactive approach and arrange your work life in a way that helps you maximize your results with minimal effort. So in this video, we will profile 9 habits that will help you become more productive at work. Now be sure to watch this whole video to the end, because I will provide a free tool to take action on what you're about to learn. And finally, if you enjoy the content of this video, then please help us out by taking a few seconds to hit the like button. Let's get to it. Habit number 1. Eliminate inefficiencies. There are many inefficient tasks that can be automated in your workday. For instance, you can set up email filters to automatically delete certain types of emails. 2 great resources that can help you reduce the time spent on computer-based tasks are the If This, Then That (IFTT) and Zapier websites. Both tools help you create automated scripts that streamline the tasks you might do in Gmail, Outlook, Evernote, and all the social media websites. To get started, think about the tools that you regularly use, and then go to one of these 2 sites to see how they can be used to streamline your work. Habit number 2. Use productivity tools. In addition to the 2 tools that I just mentioned, there are a number of tools that can reduce the amount of time you spend in front of a computer. Rescue Time is a time management program that monitors what you do on a computer and provides a daily report of your productivity. Unroll.me is a simple tool that hunts down all your subscriptions so you can look at them in a single email or unsubscribe from the lists you're no longer interested in. SaneBox is a third-party program that works with all email clients. Its purpose is to only allow important messages to show up in your inbox. The rest are sent to a separate folder. Then at the end of the day, or at a time you specify, it will send you a message that contains everything in the separate folder. Gmail and other email services has a tool for creating canned responses for common questions. You can use this to decrease the amount of communication you do through email. Slack is a communication tool where you can coordinate projects and talk to team members without getting bogged down by the back-and-forth nature of email. Text Expander for Mac or FastFox for PC can help you quickly craft messages that are common to your particular job. Now, if you want to check out any of these tools, then you can find the links to them in the description box of this video. Habit number 3. Close out emails. One of the biggest killers of work productivity is leaving email open all the time on your computer. Even if you don't respond to an email as it comes in, the pinging notifications are often distracting enough to weaken your resolve and break your focus. One strategy that can help is to schedule your inbox time for the late morning and at the end of each workday. This will free up your time to focus on your important tasks, specifically your one thing that we talked about in a recent video. Habit number 4. Prevent constant interruptions. You don't always have as much control over your workday as you'd like because of constant interruptions. This makes it hard to stay productive because you constantly have to drop what you're doing and deal with these new issues. Interruptions range from minor irritations, such as an unexpected phone call, to major problems, like a key team member who is sick for a few days. We all encounter the occasional challenge, but what separates the successful people from everyone else is knowing how to handle interruptions when they do occur. So here are a few strategies you can use to avoid or overcome those interruptions in your workday. Accept the fact that interruptions will happen and are a fact of life. What you can control is your response to these random events. Create interruption buffers. Identify how you're often interrupted: phone calls, text messages, email, or people in your office, and take a proactive approach that prevents them from happening when you're engaged in an important task. As an example, you could wear a pair of noise-canceling headphones at work. Even if you're not listening to music, this often acts as a subtle signal to coworkers that you're working on something important. Silent social media. If you're trying to work or study, then it's important to disable all your social media alerts and do your best to stay off these sites as much as possible. Give yourself a break. The important thing is to allow a certain amount of time for a break and schedule a specific time or date to resume your work routine. Start over. If your routine completely fails and you lose all momentum, simply have the courage to start from scratch. This can be discouraging, but it is better than never getting back to it. We all have interruptions. The important thing is to understand that they happen and to have a plan for when they occur. Now, if you would like more information on this topic, then watch our video on the 7 strategies to avoid interruptions. Habit number 5. Kill your monkey mind. Monkey mind is a dangerous mindset where you let your thoughts in your head negatively impact the task you're currently working on. So the best way to kill your monkey mind is to jot down any thought you have on a piece of paper. Then explore it when you're not focused on a specific task. Or if you prefer a digital approach, then I recommend keeping your list of ideas in apps like Todoist or Evernote. When you think of an idea, jot it down in one of these apps, then continue to work, and look at the idea when you have more free time at the end of the workday. Another strategy that can help is to practice the Pomodoro technique, which forces you to focus on a task and ignore all distractions. The idea here is to teach you the discipline necessary to kill the monkey that often pops into your head. For more on this concept, watch our video on how to implement the Pomodoro technique. Habit number 6. Streamline or avoid meetings. Depending on your work situation, you may not have control over the meetings you attend. But if you do, keep the following tips in mind. Conduct meetings standing up. You can keep a chair or two in the room in case anyone really needs to sit down. But if the majority of the people are standing, the meeting won't last long. Set an agenda for the meeting. Send it to attendees ahead of time so they have an opportunity to propose important items before the meeting starts. This keeps the point of the meeting clear and helps prevent you from falling down a rabbit hole of tangential topics. Put a time limit on each topic. People will learn to get the important things out fast and focus on work-critical conversations. Only invite people to the meeting if they absolutely need to be there. If you have 10 people at a meeting that takes an hour, then you've used 10 man-hours when perhaps only 3 were needed. Most meetings are an incredible waste of time and human resources. We suggest that you either avoid meetings when you can or look for ways to streamline the entire process. Habit number 7. Practice single tasking. You may feel you get more done when multitasking, but countless studies have proven that people's productivity diminishes when they engage in this activity. Furthermore, multitasking can negatively impact your IQ. A recent study by neuroscientists at the University of London found that participants who engaged in multitasking while completing cognitive tasks had a decline in their IQ score that was similar to people who had stayed awake all night. So one of the best ways to increase your work productivity is to practice single tasking by identifying your most important tasks and focusing on them without any sort of distractions. Habit number 8. Create the right level of noise. Some people need absolute silence, while others need white noise to block out distracting sounds in their environment. It all depends on what works best for you. As we mentioned in our video on the 7 ways to stay focused at work, it's important to choose a background sound that works for you. Some people can focus by listening to the soothing sounds of jazz or classical music. Others can focus with fast-paced music like rap, metal, or electronica. Finally, if music isn't your thing, then you should consider playing ambient sounds that can mimic the sounds of nature or a coffee house. To learn more, we'll link to an article that profiles the best ambient sound apps to check out today. Habit number 9. Say no. People often say yes when they should say no. There are many reasons why it's easy to fall into this trap. Mostly because we want to be liked and don't want to disappoint the other person. But saying yes to everything puts a huge strain on your time and productivity. Do this enough, and it'll kill your ability to focus on what's important. Just remember this: whenever you say yes to a request, you're saying no to something else in your life that might be important. Of course, there might be some people you feel you can't say no to, such as a boss. If that's the case, you could practice the yes but method. For example, you could say, "Yes, I'd be happy to do requested item, but that will put me behind on another important item. Would you prefer that I do requested item first? Or would it be better for me to focus on the other important item instead? This is a great way to get your boss to help you understand the real priorities in your workday. Also, keep in mind that saying no isn't rude, and there are many ways to say no without using the word no. For instance, you can say something like, "Thanks so much for considering me for this fantastic opportunity, but I don't have the bandwidth to focus on it right now." That approach affirms the person and opportunity without forcing you to give in to a request that isn't right for you. Regardless of your situation and the demands on your time, with a little bit of creativity and careful planning, you can carve out time for the things that matter most. And if you use the 9 habits that we just discussed, you will immediately see an improvement in your productivity. So with that in mind, let's talk about the free tool that I promised in the introduction in this video. The strategies that I just discussed require you to build habits into your daily work routine. So if you want to take immediate action, then be sure to check out the description box where you will find a habit tracking template you can download and print out. And if you want a simple system for creating positive habits in your life, then click and watch our video on the 9-step process for building a habit that sticks.